Although you are told to follow a certain path amongst the seas, this does not mean that you must stick to it 100% of the time. And especially whilst I am on this epic journey hunting down the long forgotten shores of gold, when I see an opportunity, I know I must take it. In this tale today we continue my story with many ups and downs and a fight against a Brigantine in which you don't want to miss. I'm Captain Daddy and join me as we head closer to unlimited gold inside the Sea of Thieves. Once meeting with Tasha in her tavern, she spoke of tales from her former friend, Briggsy, telling me of all the time she would envy her travels before handing over a diary. This diary used to belong to Tasha, who had drawn it all as a child after hearing the many stories from this pirate legend. Looking through it, however, I could tell this was going to be difficult, as deciphering the words of a child mixed with colourful pictures was all I had to go on to try and find a missing piece of the shroud breaker. Honestly, I was still upset that the shroud breaker was not usable after getting excited about heading to the shores of gold so soon. However, I felt now that we must surely be close to approaching my fame and fortune. So off I sailed on yet another adventure, and as always, I was against wind, sailing through more devastating storms, battling with both waves and the helm, until finally, I sailed clear, and my destination was not too far away. During this journey though, I had realised that the majority of my time was put into just sailing, literally nothing but sailing from one end of the Sea of Thieves to the other. I wish there would have been more to do in between, however I was mostly fighting the storm so far, and I was hoping for a change. The change I was hoping for was not a Reaper at my destination after such a long travel, but luckily after letting them know I was on a tall tale, they sailed past and we both carried on our way. As I reached the shoreline after too long, and I was now on the hunt for something on the island. After looking around, I found myself in a cave behind a waterfall where I fought through some ghouls and dug up a skeleton key, meaning I still had another island to visit to find this piece. Once again, I now had a long sail ahead and I was fighting time, as gathering all of these sections of the shroud breaker was proving to be anything but fast. But once I arrived at my next checkpoint, I dove down into the shipwreck, finding yet another key, meaning I now just needed a chest, surely. One final long sail led me to yet another island, and I was sure this had to be it. As I dug into the ground, I had found the chest, and I was looking forward to receiving my prize. Only, I was wrong. Upon opening the chest, I received a plank of wood. This was yet another piece of the puzzle, and now I had to sail away yet again to H6, which I found on the back of the plank, meaning I was heading to Lone Cove. You know what's coming now though, more sailing of course, until finally I was able to use this plank to look through, lining up with the rocks and showing a new dig spot, which upon digging up, found a piece of the shroud breaker. Only this wasn't any of the gems, it was an ancient crown for it, so I was now still 3 gems short, and feeling no closer. However, at this point, I knew what I had to do. I took it to Tasha, sailing all the way back and meeting her in the tavern, to which she was excited about, and upon giving her the crown, I was now free to head to my next destination. But in case you didn't see, I noticed before that there was a Fort of Fortune, and I was looking for some action finally, so I took a rowboat and headed over to them to cause some trouble. I rowed my way over to what turned out to be a Brigantine and managed to board them, hiding up in their crow's nest, awaiting an opportunity to strike. They completed it rather quickly however, and soon they got everything on the ship, but a problem soon arose as they brought their kegs on board. As I had never been in this situation before, I was flustered, and attempting to detonate the kegs they dropped on top of me failed, and my focus on the kegs sent me straight back to the Ferry of the Damned. I was not going to let this lie however, as I got back on board the Redbeard and sailed in their direction, ready to take them on and retrieve some treasure if I could. As I got closer, however, I could see that they were already at the outpost, and I had to act fast, wasting no time as I rammed into them. And battling with the crew, I took out 2 pirates before getting back on board, ready to ram them again as a distraction. With my ship facing towards the brig, I hopped off, climbing up onto the docks in hopes to grab some treasure, and what awaited me there was not 1, but 2 ashen wind skulls, which were now mine for the taking. I sold more loot, and as I did so, they proceeded to return, but the more they kept coming, the more I was improving, whilst over and over I was sending them back to the Ferry of the Damned, before finally these pirates had met their match and decided to sail away with any remaining treasure they may have had. From what I saw, it appeared that the Chest of Legends had been sold, but from the little effort that I put in, I'd say I earned my spoils of their 2 skulls. I know some of you may think this is a defeat, as they sailed off with most of the treasure. My ship was the one that sunk, and the funny blue chest was not in my grasp. However, my aim for this was to cause some mayhem, have a little fun, and see what I could get out of it. So whatever you may say about this tale, just know that I enjoyed myself, and I was looking forward to the many more adventures to come, and I can promise you that on my journey to the shores of gold, there's a lot more for you to hear. This goes to show 2 things. Firstly, always sell your loot straight away. Don't leave it for somebody else to collect, and secondly, the greatest stories inside the Sea of Thieves are those that you create yourselves. And if you don't want to sail all the way across the map 5 times, you can look up towards the sky and head towards any danger, just to see where the seas may take you today. That is all for this tale, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to check out my Twitch where you can catch more of my journeys live, or join my Discord and tell me of your own tales. But for now, I've been Captain Daddy, and until next time, arrgh!